there is this one thing I I have this feeling you don't get that okay, let's not talk about your schools what remainder theorem or factor theorem first. Okay, so that one actually is a is another way to so hold on, let me just get this out. Okay, by the way, this is recording already. So you are talking about the factor theorem, factor theorem, or the remainder theorem. Okay, under the topic of polynomials, right? So this is what you are taught in school, and this is what we have been talking about. Dividend equal to
the factor multiplied by
or
quotient.
divisor or factor. Very good. And then multiply by the quotient. Very good. Very good.
And sometimes the factor is actually a factor of the dividend.
Okay, good. So okay, this formula or this way of solving it is what we have been talking about so far, right? We have not talked about factor theorem or remainder theorem, but actually this one is an explanation. This is an explanation to this factor theorem and remainder theorem. You are taught factor theorem and remainder theorem in your school without being explained to you. They just ask you, please accept it. Okay? But what I keep hearing from you is you are not aware of this. You are not aware of, okay, this is actually
I used to think
an
this
explanation.
is the remainder theorem.
This is the remainder theorem, this is the factor theorem.
Oh.
Okay? But I don't call it okay. This is the explanation because this tells you why. This, they just say please use this without telling you why. Okay, so that's why I find this is easier for students to understand. Okay, you ask me a question. What's the question that you ask? I mean, you ask a few, so let's just go through one of them. So let me just pick one.
The question I asked,
Yeah.
the explanation you gave, actually did the working. I did the working that
Yeah.
you asked me to do. So for some questions you asked me to do partial fraction, I did.
Okay,
But
so
I got stuck.
So let's do this. Given that this 2x plus 1 is a factor of expression. So you ask me this question, right? And then they say solve this, right? So let's not use what factor theorem or remainder theorem. Just let's use this dividend equal to divisor or factor times quotient plus remainder. Alright? So over here the question says 2x plus 1 is a factor. So what I'm going to do, so if 2x plus 1 is a factor, okay, so
That
if 2x
means
plus 1 is a factor, so what it means?
no remainder.
Okay, number one, okay, so what you can conclude from this is, yeah, very good. So remainder equals to 0. What else? Okay, remainder equals to 0 when what?
When 2x plus 1 is a factor.
Yeah, but okay, when this is a factor, remainder is equal to 0, and there is one more thing you can conclude.
Then you use the dividend equals the equation.
Yeah, but you need to sub in the value of x. So what value of x you sub in?
Oh,
Yeah.
when yeah.
Yeah,
So
because you need to sub in to the left hand side. Remember that? You sub in the left hand side and the right hand side, right? Yeah. So you need to sub a value of x into. So what value of x you want to sub into?
0.
Given this.
Oh yeah, that was the problem I had. So since I could not find the least possible, so
The least possible.
Like -1.
Negative 1. How do you decide what value you sub into the LHS and RHS?
To get rid of the quotient.
To?
Get rid of the quotient.
No, okay, so regardless, okay, so let's not talk about the quotient first. So when you are given this as a factor, the remainder is 0. So this is the number 1 conclusion, right? Which is good. At least you remember that. But what is the x value you need to sub into the LHS and RHS?
Yeah. I'm not really sure for this.
So
That's
this is the thing, right? You have problem with. That's why you keep having. You keep having problems. Yeah.
No,
So
actually,
that's why let's refer to this. Okay. So you are given this So you are given this example, right?
yeah.
Okay. Over here, this is the dividend divided by this factor. Okay. So I use this method using dividend equals. So I keep using this. Okay. I hope you know I keep using this. So I hope you also start to use this.
I
Okay.
actually use it.
Okay. Good. Then can you see that I sub what? X equals to -4. Why?
It's because when -4 and +4 come together as 0, so 0 times quotient is 0.
Exactly. So further, I give you another example. So if x minus 3 is a divisor, so I will sub x equals to 3 into it.
Yeah.
So yes. So
the-
now
the remainder is
no. So now my question is what value of x you sub into it in this case. So if you have let's say you have x plus 4, you will sub what? X equals to -4. So if you have x minus 3, you will sub x is equal to 3. So now you have 2x plus 1. So what value of x you sub into this? How do you, so the question is, how do you get -4? How do you get 3?
it's because the opposite of negative
The
3.
Okay, so I would rather say you get x equals to -4 because you equate this to 0.
0, yes.
You equate this to 0. Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So you equate this to 0.
Oh,
So you get x is equal to -0.5, right?
Oh.
So you sub -0.5 into it. Okay? So the number 2 conclusion you can have is this. Alright?
Okay.
Okay? So, okay, let's continue. So once we have this conclusion, you can start to sub it into both the left hand side and the right hand side, right? So the left hand side is this dividend, right? So let me just write it down. So
X to the
yeah.
power of 3 plus 5x squared plus kx minus 6.
Very good. So the number 1 thing you do is you write this in this format first. Dividend equal to divisor or factor times quotient
Yeah.
plus. Okay, so
Then
please do it.
The
So the factor is this.
2x plus 1
Very good. The quotient, which I don't know, so I just write Q first.
plus
The remainder.
is 0.
Very good. Okay? So now then you can start to do this question already.
Then you say
So
that
you sub
x equals
x. I already have this conclusion, huh?
Yeah.
So I sub this -0.5 into LHS and RHS. So
yeah.
good.
So the way I do it,
So what you get for LHS?
wait, I have a question.
Oh, okay, good.
So then the
Hold
way
on,
I do it is I say let x equal
Not let. In fact, you should have a conclusion. Remainder equals to 0. That's a number 1 conclusion because that is a factor. Number 2 conclusion is x is equal to -0.5. It's not let. You cannot. If you let it equal to this, then I can let it equal to 1.
So I must
Yeah.
first say before I do this that
Yeah.
since 2x plus 1 is a factor,
Yes.
then remainder is
Yeah.
0
Yes.
and x will equal to -1.5.
Yeah. Or sub, you can say, okay. So since the is a factor, remainder is equal to 0, and x is equal to -0.5 is sub into the
Into
into
the equation.
the left hand side or right hand side.
N.
Yeah, and yeah. Alright?
Alright.
Alright? And you know why you need to sub x equal to -0.5, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so the key things is these two conclusions you need to make. Okay, and you fail to realize one of them. Okay, I mean before today. Okay, even though we have a number of examples, right, before, but okay, so once you sub this negative 0.5 into it, right, your left hand side is equal to something already, like this is, so you get 2 times 0. Negative, okay, good. So you need, okay, another thing I want to caution you is you really have to write down every single step,
Yeah, that's
because
why
because if you don't, right, you try to put everything in your mind and then somehow you do the calculation in your mind, and that's where you are most vulnerable. You make unnecessary mistakes. Okay, so you just have to write down everything. Okay, so you will get an equation here.
So
Alright.
I equate this equation.
Then you have the
zero.
RHS. No, you have the RHS. No. Why equate it to 0? I thought it's sub into LHS. This is my LHS. Then I need to sub into my RHS now. So what is my RHS? My RHS is divisor times. Okay. So let's just start from today. Divisor, because divisor is a fact. It's also a factor, right?
Yeah.
So the divisor is, I see it as x 2x plus 1 times the quotient plus remainder. So can you see which this is the right hand side, right? So I need to sub x into it, right?
Yes.
So let me
it's
sub it
2
into it.
times negative
2
0.5.
times negative 0.5
Which term?
plus 1. This will give me 0, but let's don't assume it's 0 first, okay? Don't assume. So you just put it in, and you put it in. Then your RHS is equal to 0. Why? Because this term is 0. So 0 times Q is 0, plus 0 is 0. Okay? So that's how you get your RHS equal to 0. So basically, what you do next is, you just get your LHS equal to your RHS. Then you can solve for your K. Right? Are you clear?
Yes.
Are you clear? Okay, good. So actually this is the the main concept, whether it's a remainder theorem or factor theorem. Okay? So what if this is not a factor, okay, but it leaves a remainder of 12.
Oh,
Okay,
then,
so
then
it's the same thing.
since 2x is not a factor,
Yeah.
remainder equals to
12. Very good.
and then x equals to
Yes. No, sub
sub
x equal to negative 0.5 to the left hand side and the right hand side, and then you do the
So then
do the
when
same.
we write Q and R,
Yeah.
will the marker like know?
Very good. So that's why I suggest don't be lazy, but over here we are a bit lazy, so we just write down the full term. Okay? But the way you present it, okay, the number one thing you do is you must write down this format. Because when you write down this format, then your marker will start to understand, oh, you are actually talking about the dividend. Okay, when you write down this, right, when you write down this thing here, okay, you also have to write this down.
Oh.
Okay, because you write this dividend equal to divisor times quotient plus remainder, your marker does not know what you are talking about. I mean, what you are talking about is like specifically what you are talking about until you write this down. Because once you have written this down, right, the dividend is the question. By the way, it's always the expression or the question. Then once you have written this, right, then your marker is going to understand. You have to write this down anyway. Why? Because you are going to sub into the left hand side. If not, nobody knows which left hand side you're talking about.
Yes.
Right? Can you see the flow? Can you see the flow? So in fact, right, for questions like this, right, it's all about this kind of flow. Alright? Okay. So I think I have answered a few questions you have for whether it's a factor theorem or remainder theorem. Okay? So yeah, so we can look at the other question, which is here. Okay? So do you still have question for question 3? after
question.
I did not give you my solution, but I give you hint.
The three. Can I see the question?
Yeah, three. The range of this. I talk about you need to make use of the concept of no real roots means discriminant smaller than 0. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
that
still
one before I even ask you question,
Yeah.
I already did that.
try that, but
Yeah.
still cannot get the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, good. No problem. So let's look at it together and see where, I mean, which which part of the concept you can't get it. That's why you don't get the answers. So probably you understand like no real roots. Okay, so I want to give you a okay. So
I think
let's
this is more of a working problem, not of a concept problem.
yeah, probably you have make a mistake somewhere, so which I can't help. That kind of like unnecessary mistake. Okay, good. So over here, right, they want to find the range of k. Okay, so you have to tell yourself first. This is a you have two equations here. So in fact you split this, right? This is one equation, but they combine into two equations. So in fact, right, you have equation 1 and then you have equation 2. Okay? Okay, if you split this, okay? So in fact, right, this question means what? This equation and this equation. And then you have this equation 1, and then you have equation 2, and then somewhat, if you draw the equation 1 out, you draw the equation 2 out, right? They have no real roots. Meaning if you draw your 1 out,
No intersection.
and then you draw your 2 out, they don't intersect each other. That's the meaning of it. Okay? But of course you can, then, now, look at this. This is your y, this is your x, right?
Yeah.
So, this is your x, this is your y. So, when there is no intersection or no real roots, what it means is discriminant is smaller than 0, right? So, if there is one root, that means discriminant equals to 0.
0.
If there are two real roots, discriminant is more than 0. Okay, so, okay? So when you start to use the discriminant is when you start to use the discriminant when the question is x, but they ask you the range of k. They are not asking you for the range of x. Can you see that? They're asking you for the range of k.
So if they ask you for the range of x, then
The range of x you don't have to use discriminant. I'm going to show you one example. The example was discussed last week, and you managed to solve it without using the discriminant. Okay, never mind. We start with this first. The question is about x, and they ask you for the range of k. So can you see? They are not asking you for the range of x.
oh, so
Okay.
then basically, if
So
you
you-
take
you-
the b square minus 4ac, then
Yeah.
the x
So
will all
b
be
square minus 4ac. Right. That's the discriminant, right?
Yes.
So now what you need to do is somehow you need to rearrange this first, because
Oh,
this
yeah.
is not in
So
a
what
format.
I did was-
Can I take a look whether you have rearranged correctly? So you need to park everything on one side. So what I see is you move this, it become minus. Very good. You move it, become minus. So now you have to take out your A, your B, and your C. So make sure that your ABC is correct. So A is the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. B is 6 minus 2k. Very
Yes.
good. And then C is this. Okay, so once you have this, you sub it into your b square minus 4ac, right? So b square means your 6 minus 2k. So, okay, very good. Minus 4 times 1 times k plus 9, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So, let me 6, okay, very good. Minus, very good. Then this 4k squared. Okay, so far so good. Minus, so you get minus 4k and minus, you see? So that's why if you need to use arrow, please use arrow, and you did not, and you make mistake here. Minus 4 jump to plus 9.
Oh.
Okay, so that's why
Negative
that's why for the cert questions, right, I also start to see you have such problems. So what I want you to do next time, alright? What I want, this is a very common mistake. It's not unique to you. So let's say if you have this. Do you know why you tend to make mistakes? Because when you do this question, basically you already have you already have used a lot of your brain power by thinking what to do, and then because like your brain power is already maxed out, and then you still don't do this to help yourself out. I think the chances of making mistakes is so high. Okay, that's the reason why I always suggest students, I say, please, if you need to draw the arrow, do it. Okay, so if you have drawn this arrow, you will tell yourself, alright, I have this minus 4 times x, so I get minus 4x. Then the minus 4 times this, then you know that it's plus 4a. So in fact, you have to help yourself.
49.
Okay, in this case, it's a a. I mean, I'm giving you just one example.
Okay.
I'm not doing your question. I hope you realize whenever you ask me a question, I tend to give you another example.
No,
I don't want to help you solve.
I'm just saying that you multiplied only.
Oh yeah, but this is this is a. Sorry, okay. So,
A.
yeah, this is a.
Okay.
Alright. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is you have to give yourself the arrow here. Okay? Your marker is not going to fault you because you write this. Then I think after this, then you will start to get the answer. Okay, so once you have corrected that, right, then you will get
Minus 36.
minus 36, and then somehow you can solve this quadratic inequality. Okay, so let me tell you. So you will end up with a quadratic inequality, right? Something like this.
Yeah, then you must draw the graph and then.
Oh, this is not
see.
x. Okay, this is not x. Is it x or k? In
K.
terms of k. Okay, good. In terms of k. So this is this is also another important concept. So let's say you end up with this.
Actually, there's no x here.
Oh, yeah.
Because we took away the x.
Got it. Is smaller than 0.
Oh yes, smaller.
Okay, good. So let's say I end up with this. Let's say I end up with this. Okay. So how do you solve this? So like I say, this is in terms of k, right? So number one, how do you solve this? Of course, you use the factorization method,
Yes.
right? So you get 6 plus 2, right? Then the next step is decide you need to draw it out to decide, right?
Okay.
So what's the shape of this K curve? Frown
It's-
or happy face?
It's a happy face.
It's a happy face, so
Coefficient of K
okay,
squared.
write down the happy face, right?
Yeah, then
Because
the line,
yeah, so you just have
if
this
it's
line.
less then it's inside, like not outside the.
Now we don't talk about inside or outside, right? So number one, I note down these 2 points first. Okay, so basically happy face because the coefficient is positive,
Yes.
right? So we don't look at the x, we don't look at the x. We are talking about k, like let me emphasize again. We
Yeah.
are talking about k here. So the the coefficient of k squared is plus, positive happy face. Next, I note down the negative 2 and 6. How do I get a negative 2 and 6?
Yeah, because
From
of
here?
k equals negative. Yes.
Yep. Okay. So once I get that, and then I ask myself, this is smaller than 0, right? So smaller than 0 is above. I mean, you shade above or you shade below.
Small, you shade below.
Yes. So that is the reasoning. Okay. Smaller than 0, shade below. Okay. So the below part is in between, right? Can you see? It's in between negative
So
and 6.
therefore k.
I mean, in this case, it's in between. Are you clear? Okay. So this question is in terms of x, but they ask you for k, so you need to make use of the concept of discriminant.
Actually,
Okay.
there's a similar question, but I finished the question. Yeah, it's this.
Do you have last week question?
Uh,
Okay, this one is
not
this-
this one, but
okay. Yeah. So good. You have this question, right? Are they related?
yeah.
They or yeah, or just this, or just this. Okay, 2x. Okay, good. Never mind. Do you have a question from last week here?
Yeah.
Please
The
go to that.
commonest one.
Yeah, please go to that. So I want you to realize that, okay, you don't have to use discriminant all the time. So when you use discriminant and when you do not. Not yet. Yeah. So please help me out.
Is it this?
Hold on. So this is this from last week?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I can actually refer to that. So sharing folder, comment test one, partial sharing. Over here. So this is the equation, right?
Yeah.
In terms of x, then now they ask you to find k,
Yeah.
right?
So we give you
Oh no, over here they are not asking to
say
find.
the k.
They will give you k. So nothing to do with discriminant.
So then you say
Then in the
times
case of this,
times.
show that it's a tangent. Okay, so nothing to do with this. So not this. This 6.
6, 1. Yeah, I have.
You have. So I already have. I also have partial solution here. Okay, so you can take a look at this. So it says the solution the inequality. So this inequality is in terms of x, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then it asks you to find the value of a and b. So what you do, you just solve the inequality like just as an inequality. There is nothing to do with the discriminant. That means why? Because they ask you for the, can you see, find the values of a and b. So with the value of a and b, find the set of value of x. Can you see?
Yeah.
Value of x. So when you are asked to find the value of x, which means this is in terms of x, do you need to trigger the discriminant? No need.
No.
So what you need to do is, so basically if we are doing this, so we have this fx is equal to this. So basically you got your 4 and 5 previously. Here it says lies completely below the line. Okay, so last time we talked about lies completely below. Lies completely below means there is no intersection, right?
Yes.
I mean graphically that's the meaning. So a lot of students they say, oh, it lies entirely below the line. So what it means? No roots, right? No intersection, right? So that means discriminant is more than 0. But the question now is, do you need to trigger? I mean, do you need to make use of that concept or not? The answer here is
No need.
no need. Why? Because in terms of x, they ask you for the
Value of
values
x.
of x, so you don't have to. Okay. So then, therefore, it says it lies completely below the line. Below line, that means below this. So that means you just smaller.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you form this, then you just bring this right hand side to the left hand side,
Yeah.
and then you start to you just start to solve it normally like an inequality. So
Then you
never think of no need to think of discriminant at all. So once you get this right, so in fact this is also something I want to talk about, because I'm not sure if you understand my partial solution. You understand or you don't understand
Partial solution.
for this question, or have you looked at this or no?
Yeah. I think I
You
look at it.
you have looked at that. Okay.
So.
So let's say if you have this.
Okay.
So do you want to divide by a negative? Because you don't like. I mean, personally, I don't like to deal with negative.
So if you divide by negative, then
You need to
the
switch.
inequality needs to, yeah.
You need to switch this
Yeah.
this sign. Right? Okay, that's one way. Yeah. But a lot of students they can't remember.
Oh.
So you get rid of this, right?
Yeah.
So what about if I don't? Let's say I don't do it this way.
Oh, then what you did was switch.
Yeah. I bring them over, right?
Yeah. Then every sign changes.
So I bring them over. So that means by this whole thing, right? I bring them to that side, right? So if I bring them to that side, that's why this side, my left hand side will be 0, because you bring the entire thing over, right? That's why that's how I change the sign without.
I think this is similar. Like even if you put the same thing you did before, and you just like take away the negative.
It's actually it's the same.
Yeah.
But it's the same. No, you end up with the same thing, but it prevents you from making that mistakes, like you forget to switch the sign. Okay, so I bring it over, so I end up with this, and then this is actually this,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Why? Because 0 is smaller than this thing.
Yeah.
So this is, that means in a way, if 0 is smaller than this, that means this is bigger than 0. So I just, you understand me? If 0 is smaller than this, that means this is bigger than 0. I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
switch. Yeah. That's why I use this simple example to illustrate. So once you have this, I think you can solve already, right? Right?
Yeah.
Just solve it like normally.
Yeah,
So it's
factorize.
bigger than 0. Okay, first thing first, positive this. Above 0, I mean bigger than 0,
Above.
shade above. So that means you have a split one.
Yeah.
Okay?
X
That's
is
it.
more than or
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Alright? So do you know when you could end up with a split and end up with a merged? Merge it is, if you shade here, is
oh
merged.
yeah, I know that.
It's in between, huh?
I have the notes.
Yeah. So if it's split, it's shade above. So how do you decide? Bigger than 0, shade above. Yeah, that's the reasoning behind. Okay. Please don't use other reasoning. Okay. Good. So yeah. So I have explained to you when you need to make use of the concept of discriminant and when you do not need to. Okay. So if this question is like, let's say it lies completely above, then graphically no real roots. But do you need to use the discriminant? No, because they ask for the x. Because
So
this
in
is
both
number x.
situations, don't need to use this.
Yes. Why?
Because they ask you to find a set of values of x.
Yes. And the question is in terms of x, right?
X.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
no other unknown.
Okay. Yeah. Good. So yeah. So I think you have. So question 3 also done, right?
Yeah.
The question you asked me is question 3.
Then I think there's one more.
Okay.
But then the last one, I think I found the answer.
Okay. So what about this? Hence. Okay. So what? Okay. What? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do they mean by hence? Hence, that means you have to
Hence,
make.
that means you use the answer from the
Above.
top one.
Yes.
The below.
What if you don't?
If you don't, then question wrong.
Yeah, 0.
Yeah, 0. Because you're not using.
I think I remember.
Yeah, one of the question you taught me that if you don't use the same, like the answer from above, then it's wrong. Yeah, I remember. I think
You don't get
test
marks, yeah. All right. I think common test 1. So do you know how to get 3 part 2?
Yes, I'm teaching.
Okay, good. Next. So the term containing the highest power. Question 5. You have problem with this? You say the part 2, right?
The question 5.
You say part 2 have problem. Part 1 no problem.
I think I did question 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it.
So you solve all or part 2 is not?
So book.
This is part 2.
Yeah, this part
Then
2
this
is
part.
wrong.
Part 1. Okay. Part 1. Doesn't look good. Okay, number 1. How do you solve this? Use the dividend equal to divisor, right? Or some other stuff. Okay, let's take a look at it. So, over here is. Okay. Need to use a pencil. So over here it says the term containing the highest power is this. So they already give you this.
Yeah.
And they say given that the quadratic factor is this, the quadratic factor is this. So that means you already have the quadratic factor. So if you write the dividend down, so this dividend is 2x3, and you don't know the subsequent terms.
But it must be plus a square. X.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have the quadratic factor, but you do you have a divisor? So and x is equal to -1 is a solution to the
So
equation.
It's x plus 1.
Very good. So that means you need to write down something like since x is equal to -1 is a solution. You just repeat this to the fx equal to 0. So x plus 1 is a factor. X plus 1 or x minus 1?
Plus 1.
Yes, good. So therefore you x plus 1 here. And then therefore you this,
quotient.
right? And then anything else?
Oh, so
there is a remainder. I mean it has no remainder when you sub this. But there is always a remainder there. But whether it's 0 or not, it depends what you sub in. Okay? And then there is a tricky thing here. Can you see that the 2 is here? So then you somehow realize that something is missing here, because no matter what you do, right, no matter what you do, you will not end up with a 2x cubed.
So you multiply it to
So you need to give a 2 here. So if you give a 2 here, how do you get a negative 1 out of here? So it will be plus 2.
wait, I'm confused now.
Yeah. So okay, so we start with this reasoning. So from x equals to minus 1, so x minus 1, it can be x plus 1, right? The factor
Yeah.
can be x plus 1, right? Can it be 2x plus 2? Yeah, you can, right? You also sub in the x equals to minus 1, right?
Ah.
So it can be 3.
Let's just multiply by 2.
It also can be 3x plus 3, right? How do you decide that?
It's because it's multiplied by 3.
How do you decide which one you choose in this case? Because
it's
all
because
all
this
can
one
give
is
you
2x cubed, not 3x cubed.
correct.
So when you multiply
That's why
the x
that's why I explained to you. I say, hey, you look at this. X times x squared, you only can get x cubed, right?
Yes.
There's no way for you to
X.
get 2x cubed.
Yeah.
So because of this, okay, so you need to change accordingly. Change it to 2x. But if you change this to
that one, you have
3x,
to change the other one also.
yes. If you don't change this, you cannot sub this x equals to minus 1 to be a solution, right?
Yeah.
Right? So therefore, with this, then you open it up, then okay?
Yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
So once you get this out, okay?
So once you do this, then you have to say sub in x equals negative
Minus 1
minus 1
into the left hand side and the right hand
side.
side, yes.
Then after you get
And by the way,
0,
since this is a solution, right? So that means you can r equals to 0.
0, yes. So
Yeah.
then after that
Compare by comparison.
What?
By comparison
But
already.
then but then the 2x to the power of 3 plus a squared plus bx plus c equals 0.
Yeah.
Then how do you compare them?
Compare the x square term, x term, and c.
But the right hand side is 0.
No, the right hand side is not 0, right? Is it? I don't know. Let's try. Okay. Over here. If you sub it into it left hand side, then you will get.
2
So you get 2 times,
negative 1.
right?
Yes.
So just do it first. Right? This is the left hand side.
Yes. Then the right hand side.
The right hand side will be, so since this is 0, 0 times this is 0,
0.
so it's 0. Okay, good. 0. Okay? So you get one equation.
Okay.
Right? You get one equation. Okay. Then what about you don't sub in?
Oh.
If you don't sub in, let's say you don't sub in, huh?
Okay.
Can you just, I mean, can you do without sub in the
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, that way you can compare.
Yeah. So
then
this way you can compare.
if you don't sub in, then the right hand side, sorry, the remainder will still be 0.
The remainder will be, hold on. So it says what? It says when this is a solution to the, okay. You already assume this is the factor.
Yeah, correct factor.
So this is a factor, so your remainder is definitely 0.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Oh, okay, then I know how to do this.
Yeah.
Then you just compare.
Yes. Okay. So sometimes it requires you to sub in, and you sub it into the left hand side and the right hand side, and then somehow you end up with, I mean, it doesn't look like you can find the A and B,
unknown.
right?
Yeah.
So then therefore you need to, so there are a few ways. Like if you hit a roadblock, go another route. So number one, I mean, you can sub in first. Doesn't work,
Then
by comparison. Alright?
actually a lot of my problems like at school, I just compare. Then at school they use some other method, right?
Yeah, which is
It's
harder or
they complicate it. Then more steps. Then my friends see me. I did it in like 2 minutes. Then they ask.
oh, why? Because first I'm not sure if they have tuitions. If they don't have tuition, they have to stick with the school's curriculum.
But then actually, the teacher taught the comparison method.
Yeah.
she said it's very risky, so people don't use
Risky?
it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't find it risky as long as you like take out the x square, take out the unknown, then you know what group it is.
Yeah.
Then you just compare it by seeing.
Okay, yeah. Maybe to you it's not risky, to them maybe yes. Or maybe whichever is more comfortable. And then next, right, the next question is number of real roots. So once you get this out, right, how do you get the number of real roots? So you just use the long division. I saw you use the long division, right? Right? So let's say if you get this out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's assume this is correct.
Okay.
Then you just over something. Okay. So I think this is wrong.
This is wrong.
So you better go back and do it to find the A and B. Then after that you use the long division. Once you have the long division, right, then you will have this the factor, and then what you have the quotient. So what I'm trying to say is, so basically you have this already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you already have the factor and the quotient. So you can solve. So if you continue to solve, I mean now they look for the roots. That means they want to find the values of x now. Right? So this is for you to find A and B. Part 2 is for you to find the value of x. So you equate this to 0, you equate this to 0. So if you equate this to 0, you will have x is equal to -1. That's one root. That's called one root. Can you help me key this into your calculator and see if you have any value? Real root. Real root means actual value. Yeah, 3 points. Yeah, okay. So
yeah,
3
so
roots.
Three.
Three real roots.
3.
1, 2,
Oh, okay.
3. Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Alright?
So then,
Then now the question is, how do you solve this without using the calculator?
equals.
You cannot use factorization, you know why? The two roots look
Yeah.
doesn't look like, okay, they are not whole number.
Yeah.
So if they are not whole number, you can't solve by factorization. So how you deal with this?
Okay, let me think.
Yeah. What's another method to solve? Quadratic equation.
Oh, quadratic formula.
Very good. So if you don't use the quadratic formula, you use the computing square. So it'll be minus 4. I mean you end up with plus 4.
Yes.
So
then
in minus
plus.
2.
Yeah.
And then you continue. Bring it over 2.
2 then
X minus 2
equals 4.
plus minus square root 2.
Okay.
Then you continue.
And then you get 2.
Then with this you get the exact value.
Mm-hmm.
If you use your calculator, you don't get exact value.
Okay. Actually,
Computing
at
square,
school-
you solve every
school
quadratic.
they taught me for Emacs they taught me quadratic formula. So
Yeah, but what's the
Instead of
formula? What's the formula?
hopefully I remember it's like
Huh?
negative b square minus
Negative b square or negative b?
sorry negative b
Yes,
b.
okay, good.
Okay. Negative b plus minus square root b squared b square minus 4ac by 2a.
Yeah, good. That will give you your x.
So at school, right?
You will end up the same. Yeah, end up the same. Yeah.
So this one is more complicated.
Which one?
Quadratic formula.
No, this is not. Okay, this is complicated, but you just have to take out your ABC and then you just submit.
Yeah, but at school if they ask me to use quadratic formula,
Yeah.
can I use completing square instead?
Of course not. If the question asks you to use, okay, if the question,
Oh no.
yeah, if the question never say anything, do anything. I mean, do whatever you want.
Let me show you
Yeah, sure.
as a homework they give
Yeah.
at school.
You manage to solve.
Oh yeah, of course.
You manage to solve.
Yeah.
Good.
Let me see where's the quadratic formula. Oh, this one. So yeah, this. So it. The teacher really said
Okay, give me the
that
question.
if
Give me the question. Just give me the question. Yeah.
just ask me to
Yeah. Give me the question.
use
Quadratic.
6x squared minus 3x minus 7
So what equals to 0?
equals 0.
Okay, good. The question says you must use quadratic or any other way.
Okay, here they say use quadratic, but then at school, like during exam, the
Yeah.
teacher say they won't tell you.
Yeah.
They will just
Solve.
tell
Solve.
like correct No, like you solve and then they say correct to 2 decimal place. So then the teacher say whenever they say 2 decimal place, you must confirm use quadratic formula. Like, I mean you can, yeah, that's what the teacher said.
I think okay. For E-math, right? Some of your classmates, I think they don't have A-math.
No, they don't have A-math. Yeah, some of the classmates don't have.
Yeah, if they don't have A-math, then there's no way for them to use computing square. Because computing square is an A-math topic.
Yeah, but for me.
So that's the reason why your teacher suggests if you can't use factorization, because if the answer is a decimal number, you can't use, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why you have another tool, computing square.
Okay, so
of course you don't go and make mistake, but you act cool and then you use computing square, but you end up with the wrong computing square, then you get it wrong. So, okay, so you better stick to formula.
Okay.
Okay, which is the safest, and it's not so complicated as long as you take the ABC out correctly.
Okay.
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 Okay. You don't act cool and then okay, it's okay. You can use computing square, but you can use your calculator to help you double check the answer. Right? You can quickly use your calculator to help you check the answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm not sure if your classmate know they can use your calculator to quickly get the answer.
So if you use computing square for this,
Yeah.
do we take out the 6
Of
out?
course, in fact this is the okay.
Minus.
Of course you must be thinking, hey, is it worth using the computing square or not?
No. This is it.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. You can.
It's x minus.
So you get 1/16 plus.
Yeah.
So you need to plus a c such that you get minus this. Okay? So just minus this, bring it over.
And minus a.
Okay? So yeah, you need to use calculator. So I'm not sure if you think this is worth the effort. Okay? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, by the way, for computing square always okay, why I can
Make the x square always work.
can I ask you one question? I take out 6, right? How come I delete the 6?
No, because when you divide the 6 by 0, it's always 0.
Correct. So don't delete anyhow.
No.
Delete with a reason.
Yeah, at first I always take out the 6. I don't like make it disappear.
Yeah.
Then after
Without
that,
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, then next step I do that.
Yeah. So I delete the 6 here because there is a 0.
0,
here.
yeah.
So if this is not a 0, this is y. Can you delete the 6?
No, then y
You
by
cannot.
6.
Yeah, you cannot. So you cannot take out the 6. So you need to continue. So you give it a bracket.
Actually,
You have to sub in back later.
Yeah. If it's y.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. So the 3 questions, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
You solved it.
I
Yeah.
finished some other questions.
Yeah. Good. Yep.
So let's see. Okay, question.
Okay, the third one. Let's look at the third questions. Do you have questions on third?
Yeah, I think there was quite a few. I think there was a few third questions.
Okay, you ask me this. Okay, over here it says this U belongs to the Q and V belongs to the Q. Simplified. Okay, so let's not talk about this part first. Okay, just solve this. So how do you solve this? So can you see that you have a cube root on the left, and then of course you have something here. Of course,
So cube.
you cube it. So to get rid of the cube root, then you use the comparison method. Okay, but do you get this question? Do you have some partial solution for this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. So you cube this, because once you cube both sides,
It's 20 plus minus 14
okay, so it's 20 plus minus 14. Yes.
by 2.
Then of course this is the left hand side. Just write it down. Left hand side equals to this. So right hand side equals to. So how do you do this?
This one is u plus minus square root 4.
So probably you want to
power of 2.
do it this way first.
Yeah.
Okay, do it this way first. Then open this up first.
Yeah. U square.
If I take the plus, I will get 2u square root v, right?
Yeah.
Then if I take the minus, I will get minus, right?
Yeah.
Then ultimately it will end up with the plus.
Plus v.
Yes, so equals to v. Then you continue. So okay. Then after that you
Yeah.
okay. So you will end up with term with square root v, term without square root v. Then the term without square root v is something like that. Let me look at the question again. So it says what? Simplify fully the following cubic radical this. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So you will end up with, okay, so let me just continue a little bit. So the u cube, which is here, then this will be plus 2u square root v, then you be uv, then below is so I do the plus first. So the plus is u square this, then this will be plus 2uv, then this will be plus v and this v, then I do the minus, so it's u cube plus 2u.
Wow, that's a lot.
So I do the minus now, minus, so it's minus u squares this, then I do the minus u
Why
minus.
is this like so complicated?
It's okay.
These questions.
I mean, I don't think you will get this question, but
No, I won't
you
get
just
this because I never.
so you have minus minus minus, so this is minus plus minus minus. Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, good. So which one with the square root? This one with the square root. This one with the square root. This one with the square root. Then the non-square root is this. Okay, so it's u cube plus uv plus 2u. Then this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, I think this question is very complicated, but actually I would like to talk about the approach. The approach is actually is if you have a cube root here, then you have nothing here, you have to cube to get rid of it.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. So meaning if you get a questions like this, let's say you have square root, then they give you something like this. Let's say they give you this, and then you have something like this. Okay. So the way to do this question is you need to get rid of the square root.
Yeah.
Okay. Then don't make the common mistake like 2 square plus. No.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah. You have been making this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
So
Yeah. Your third question from school.
That's it.
Any question from the common test 2? Besides the 3 questions you asked me?
Can you go down to the last question?
For common test 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't it some x squared? They asked me to explain how.
You mean here?
Yeah.
This one explain? Good. Where's the explain? Oh, find the number of roots for the equation. Explain how to find.
Number of x.
Did you sketch? Can I look at the sketch?
Oh yeah. Sketch way back. There you go.
Yeah. Looks like. Okay. I think your this sketch is wrong. You know why? Oh, because of the boundary. No. Is there a boundary? Okay. So I can quickly check whether your sketch is good or not.
I think it's wrong.
Maybe it's correct because there is a range. Okay, how do you sketch first? Okay, first thing first. How do you sketch? Quadratic. Give yourself a table or what?
Yeah, I first give myself a table with the boundary of the values of x, then just substitute the x and the y equation, then find the different y.
Yeah. This is one way, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. This is one way, yeah.
Then again, just make the graph and chart the.
Okay, so let's say without the range. How do you sketch without the range?
So then they ask you just sketch the equation. Oh, then after you just make your -1, 0, and 1.
Okay, so number one thing, complete square. So let's do the complete square. See if your completing square is correct. So I want to keep testing your completing square skill. So take out the minus, because you have to make the coefficient 1 first, right? Before you can. Did you do that? Did you take out the negative sign first?
You know, I didn't even.
for part 1.
I didn't even copy the question correctly. I didn't even put the negative.
No wonder so next time when you have such a weird curve, then you should question yourself, right? Yeah, you see. So always have this this is also very.
Actually, I thought it was not weird because I thought the way I drew it was weird.
How a quadratic equation look like?
X squared.
No, how it looks like.
How quadratic? Actually,
The general shape, the curve, right? What curve?
downward curve.
I mean, it's a happy or frown face.
Yeah.
Look at yours.
It's a straight line.
I mean, it can be a curve, but I don't see a happy face or frown, right?
Yeah.
So that already says most likely it's wrong. So yeah, it's wrong. Why? Copy the question wrongly. So can you quickly do the completed square?
Okay.
Okay. So next time, can you please, if it does not look right, then please question yourself. You can put your iPad over there in case it drops. Yeah. So just question yourself. If it doesn't look right, question yourself. Okay. So when I look at your curve, I mean your sketch, it does not look right to me. Yeah? At all, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the part A answer first.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Got it? Okay, so your answer?
A equals to
No, I don't want ABC. I just want you to have that format only.
Oh,
Then now,
negative.
okay, by the way, over here say right, complete the square to get the above gate into this format. That means they're not asking you to give ABC. They just want you to express in this format.
So
Don't need
if
to give ABC.
If I give ABC, is it wrong?
No need. In fact, it's wrong. You're not answering the question.
But if I wrote the format, then I say
You wrote that format, can already.
okay.
Yeah, good. Okay, what's
Negative x minus 2 plus 10.
square?
No. Yeah, square.
Okay, like this, then plus 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in fact, you can check whether it's correct or not. Just open this up and see if you can get back this. Right?
Yeah.
You should always check. So, okay, good. Alright, so when you do completing square, I think it's pretty easy. You can mark it before your teacher. Okay, so that means you know that, oh, this is safe. Okay.
And the teacher don't need to know.
And by the way, why you need to do a double check here? Because this is going to affect the rest. So the more you need to check before you move ahead. Alright? Okay. Of course, you can use the comparison method. That means expand this and then compare ABC. Have you thought of that?
No.
Okay, but you can, right?
Yeah.
I thought about it, but anyway, so no. Okay, good. How do you sketch this?
So if they don't give the domain.
No, with the domain now.
Oh, with the domain then just sub in the values of x, then find the values of y.
I think when you can basically you are talking about you give a table, right?
Yeah.
Then
Nice.
you test the zero. Then I mean these are the three numbers you have to test. Of course you can give more, but these are the basic three you need to test, right?
Yes.
This is one way. But I don't think you need to use this way. Okay? I'm not saying you can't, but you don't have to. Let me tell you why. First thing first, determine the shape. What's the shape? How the shape looks like.
other shape will look like a front face.
Why?
Because the coefficient of x squared is negative.
It's a sketch, huh? No graph paper needed. So I know it's a it's a front face, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So a front face. So basically you have a what point is this?
Maximum.
Maximum. What's the maximum point here? So then you have to ask what's the maximum value of this? What's the maximum value? Looking at this. What's the max value you can get out of this?
If you sub x is equal to
so a point is given by the x coordinate and y coordinate, right?
yeah.
So what you want to sub into so that you can get the max? What x you sub into get the max?
6.
You sub 6. If you sub 6 into this, you will end up with minus something, then you will get a minus value.
Oh, so it must be negative 6. Right?
No, I don't know, but I'm asking you. What value you sub into, you get the max value for this. What's the... Okay, you know that your 10 have to get... your 10 have to... this value, this value, right, is to reduce your 10. Can you see that? Can you see that? Minus something. That means this value here is to reduce your 10. Right? So now you want the max value, right? Now you want the max value. Right?
So the x must be...
So you try to so let's say you have minus 1. You will get 9, right? You have minus 3. You will get 7. So that means it looks to you is like, okay, the smallest this can get, the max I can get out of it. So what's the smallest you can get out of this? Is it minus 1? Minus
0.
Minus 0, yes, exactly. That means you don't want to reduce anything, right? So how do you get 0 out of here? X equal to?
2.
Okay, very good. So x equal to 2. So if x equal to 2, your max value will be 10. Okay? Then what's the minimum value then for this?
Minimum value.
For this. So this is the 10, right?
Yeah, actually minimum value can just go like...
Okay, I ask you, this is 10, right?
Yeah.
This you will definitely... Okay, let's say you give yourself a 1, you will get 11, right? This is a 2, you will get 12, right?
Just put...
So you want the smallest value
No.
for this, right? You want the smallest value for this, right?
Yeah.
So because you want now I want the minimum value, okay? I want the minimum. How do you get the minimum? You don't want to. You don't want. Yeah, you want to get a negative, but can you get a negative? Out of a square.
No.
So then, what's the smallest value you can get out of this?
1 or 0.
0, right?
Yeah.
If you can get 0 is best, right?
Yeah.
That means you don't want to. You want to get minimum. That means you don't want to increase the 10 at all.
Yeah.
Can you get the reasoning now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So therefore, this is also 2 and 10, the minimum value. Okay. So you get the maximum value is 2 and 10 in this case. How do you get the maximum value? You just reason out yourself over here. Okay. So once you get the 2 and 10, then I know that, oh, my curve looks like this with the maximum point 2 and 10. Can you quickly use your calculator? Key this into your calculator. Key the original will do. Then you don't have to key your this computing square. Key the original. So what's your x value?
It is a crazy number.
So there is a I here. Can you see there is a I here?
Yeah.
So this is not a real root. I means imaginary. Okay, for your information. Okay, I means imaginary. Can you press another one? You have x1 and x2. Is it also a I?
Yeah.
Okay, so both are imaginary numbers. So what it means? That means there is no real roots. Okay. So that means this one does it touch the x-axis?
No.
No, right?
It's either above the x-axis or below.
Yeah. So how?
just choose one, I guess.
Yep. So the max value is, but it doesn't make sense.
Actually, did you make this question up yourself, or is it
Yes, I. Okay, let me just
or
use.
maybe like
Let me use
in
technology
technology?
to see the shape. I mean, to see how it looks like according to technology. And hopefully your okay loading, yeah, good. So I need to give minus x square plus 4x plus 6. Okay, it should act like this. You have keyed in the wrong stuff.
Yeah, obviously.
It should not be imaginary.
Oh.
You see? You see? So it doesn't look right. Then I start. Okay, it's very good. So what you key in? Minus x squared plus 4x plus 6. So you need to key in minus 1 plus 4 and plus 6.
I came plus 1.
Never mind. Anyway, so you see, this is also something I want you to learn. Like, let's say if you get something which is contradictory to your, it doesn't look right, you know. You know why it doesn't look right to me? Number one, it says the max point is 2 and 10, right? Which is here, right? And then it should look like this, right? Then I think it definitely will have the x. But your calculator doesn't show that. But your calculator says the imaginary. So that's why I start to, you contradict my thinking.
Yeah.
So I will start to check. And I realize you make the mistake. Are you keying wrong? Okay? So that's how I draw. Okay, so can you key it again? What do you get for x?
5.162.
Okay, you have a 5.162 and then?
Negative 1.1.
Negative 1 point.
160.
Okay, good. Just leave it like this first. Okay, let's not be too particular about the exact value. So that means you know that we will touch here, right? Like somewhere in the negative portion and somewhere in the positive. So good. I already have the shape. And now the next point I need to draw is this. Yeah. Do I need to draw the table?
No.
No. So in fact, when you do sketch for this question, all you need to do is get the shape out by having this the turning point, which is maximum point in this case. Okay. Next, use your calculator quickly, see if it touches the x axis. Then I got it right. Okay. Then you can start to sketch. And of course now you need to get this point. This point is your 0 and 1. So you sub in x equal to 0 into this, what do you get? That will be your y-intercept here.
Maybe like 6.
Not maybe 6. Okay? And then of course now then you go and talk about the range. Can you key negative 2 into it? What do you get?
Negative 2.
Into this.
Negative 6.
Negative 6. Okay, good. So I should. So this is the bound now. So it's negative 6. Negative 2. Negative 6. Okay, good. Give me the other one. 6.
Negative 6.
Negative 6 also. Okay, good. 6. Negative 6. Okay, so I'm not going to extend beyond these two. Are you clear? So that's how you sketch. Are you clear? Then after that, find the number of roots for the equation. Okay, how many roots? Just by looking at this.
There's 3.
Which 3? Which 3?
The
3 or 2? 1, 2. Where's the other one?
the one intercepting the y.
You mean here?
Yeah.
These are called roots.
Yeah.
These are called roots. You go and look back at the polynomial question. What's your understanding of roots? Ah, okay.
Number of values of x.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Number of values of x.
Yes.
Okay.
So
it's not y.
yes. So that's why.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So 2, right?
Yeah.
So if they ask you to explain, look at the sketch.
Two real roots.
Yeah, 2 real roots. Yeah. Or the other way to answer that is use your calculator and then tell them the answer.
Okay.
Okay? Or you can use the complete square, solve it, and then okay? Then
Okay.
not only you need to tell them how many roots, you also explain means you need to find out how x equals to this and x equals to this. Okay? So you show them you have 2 values of x. Okay, 2 roots. Understand? Okay, good. So so we can take a brief break and we can move to the second half.